Hello, my friends. I'm David Burns. I'm pumped and excited today. It's hot out here. It's going to be a hot week for maybe the next 10 days. Hot temperatures coming back in. Today, we've got to do a mite test, and we're going to do an alcohol wash. We're going to do it on the package bee that we installed 14 weeks ago in 2 days. And so that you can kind of get an idea of how many mites have accumulated over those 14 weeks. So we're going to jump in there. I think I got most of my things ready. So as you can see here, I've got my alcohol already poured into my container to do my alcohol wash test. And I've got my little scoop. This scoop is designed, when you scoop up bees, you'll get about 300 bees in the scoop. We'll put them in here and then we'll slosh it around. We'll get a good mite count. We're going to go into a hive right behind me here, and we got to make sure a couple of things. We got to find the queen first, and then we have to find a good frame, and that's going to be a frame of bees that has brood. It can be open brood or cap brood, but that's where most of the mites are going to be found to give it a fair test. So let's open it up, see how rapidly we can go through there. So first thing we need to do is check, make sure the queen is not up here in this top super. Now I'm going to be fast about it, and I think a queen would be in the center. There might be brood here. So what we're going to do is look down, make sure the comb isn't into the frames next to it, and then if it's clear to pull straight up without damaging frames or comb, we're going to go ahead and just pull up this frame here, and that will tell us, save us some time. You know, we don't want to go down there. We're not using a queen excluder, so if the queen is up here laying eggs, we need to find her before we do an alcohol wash. This frame here, it's just all capped over honey, and so we feel pretty good. The rest of them are too. There's no brood up in here, or it would be in the center. All right, so now we're going to go and take the super off, get a good footing, bend with your knees, all that good talk. Set it right there. See, wasn't that easy? Wow. Check the cart for stability. It's good. What I'm going to do to get my 300 bees, I'm going to use this top cover. Never tried this before, but kind of just sat here and made sense to me, is just see if I can scoop them up out of the top cover. And so usually what we try to do is get the bees that are nurse bees. So I've got a frame here that doesn't have the queen on it. And in this frame, we have a lot of larvae, young brood, a little bit of cap brood. So we're going to shake the bees off into here. And then we're going to scoop up what we need. Some of the older bees will fly. A lot of the nurse bees are going to hang out. And since this top cover is sealed off, I can use the alcohol above that super below it. If I spill it, it stays contained. And just an idea that I thought of. Let's go ahead and scoop up our bees in our cup. Make sure we get this cup holds 300 bees. So we'll just keep scooping, get them in there. All right, that's a half a cup. Let's get another half. All right. They're getting a little spread out. I could shake them into a corner, but I don't have that luxury. All right, there we go. Now we got enough. We'll measure that and see if we got 300, but I can kind of tell we do. It's a good sample size. That's a half a cup of bees for every 300 bees. All right, now we don't have to test the mite levels right here. We can seal this off, put it aside, look later, and put it over there. Now we can just put the hive all back together again. To do that properly, what you need to do first is get all the bees back in the hive. So what we'll do is, here's the hive over here. We want to put our frame in first, then shake all the bees in, put our super back on. Now let's take our frame that we shook the young bees off of, and hopefully they had a good level of mites that we can use for our count on them. Top cover, back into the hive. There we go. All right. Now we need to get our super back on. And once we get our super back on, we're barely doing this before sunset. I'm running out of time fast. You can probably tell my exposure is getting dark. But we'll put the hive back together. Even though we're rushing, make sure you get your frames centered again toward the middle. Take a minute to do that. All right, we'll take the super that's very heavy, hard on your back. We'll put it back here. Perfect. We'll put our top cover on. Now it's important that we slosh around the bees for about a minute, minute and a half to get a good measurement. And that way we get more mites that will fall off of the bees that are in there. So that's what we're trying to do. Now let me speak to those of you that feel this is terrible to do to kill bees to do a test like this. I want to let you know that for years I did not do this. A lot of people use powdered sugar, and a friend of mine just did a powdered sugar test. He had 2 mites on the powdered sugar. Right behind it, he did an alcohol wash, and he had 6 mites. This does seem to be more accurate, and everybody tells me, top entomologists, that when you use a powdered sugar shake, the bees in there die within 10 days anyway. If you look at it like this is a single organism, superorganism, and just like you would treat somebody for cancer, there are always good cells that are damaged or, killed so that the whole body can live. And in this case, Landy Simone, my good friend, said if bees knew what you were doing, they would jump in the alcohol to save their hive. So they're quickly replacing these bees. We're just sampling them once a month. All right, so we're giving them a good sloshing around. It's been about a minute now, and we're going to see what kind of mite count we have. Fingers crossed, it's not horrible. I'll be showing you in this video how to use oxalic acid based on what results we see from the bottom. Let's hold it up at the sky and see what we got. Well, phooey. I'm sloshing it around a lot, and I'm sloshing it even longer because I don't see a single mite, but I'll hold it up to the sky to make sure. But let me just keep doing this. This isn't necessary, this much sloshing around, but just so a mite might be hanging on, I'm going to try to get at least 1 mite to show up. This is almost a mite-resistant queen we have here for sure. I think I might see 1. Nope, that's dirt on the bottom. Well, boy, I don't see a single one. Let me hold it up. Yeah, so what you can usually do is hold it up to the sky, and you can kind of look. I do have a lot of dirt on the bottom. Let me get some of that off so you don't think, oh, there's one. But that's on the outside, you can see. So there's nothing stuck to the wall. That's a piece of dirt on the outside. That's a piece of dirt. Dang, I'm going to have to graft more queens off of that queen. Beautiful. Well, no mites there. I want to see what the mite levels are on this hive. Right now they're doing big washboarding. Look at that. Are you familiar with washboarding? Not really foraging too much right now. It's August the 10th. So you can see we've had a reduction in foraging, but washboarding is something that's not new, and you can see it a lot in hives this time of the year. And what I've never seen before, though, look at this. On the back of the hive, they're washboarding all over the back of the hive. That's very new to me. I've not seen that before on the back. It's going to make it a little bit challenging to take the top cover off, but we'll see maybe if we need to replace this top cover. Maybe there's a big gap there. This was a 5-frame split that I made early in the year. And as you can see, boy, it's really done well, because this honey super, it's just plumb full. It's chock plumb full. I'm going to tell you right now, there's no 2 ways about it. This here is one full honey super. Let's take this frame out in the middle to guarantee there's no brood up here, because we want to take a mite sample from a frame of brood, either open brood or cap brood, doesn't really matter. All right, let's work this out so we don't damage any comb. It's sticky because of propolis. All right, very good. Affirmation, there's no brood in the honey super. I don't use queen excluders, and that's just a beautiful frame of capped over honey. Look at that. Dark honey, isn't it? Darker. Wow. I don't want to leave it for them. I want to take it for myself. But if I do, they might kind of get hungry this winter. Even though I feed my bees my Winter Be Kind, which you guys are blowing up my website ordering those Winter Be Kind feeders in the winter. My goodness. I could take this honey super off and feed my bees just fine in the wintertime. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. I may harvest this. I really might. Shoot, because I love honey. And that's a good, all frames are like that, every one of them. It's going to be heavy to pick up. I got my little stand over there. And I'm trying to decide if I want to move frames out or just muscle it over there. Man. What do I do? Muscle it or take out? Now let's just muscle it. Taking out frames is going to take up too much time. Well, you know, as you can see, this 5-frame split really did great this year. Look at all those bees up in the super. They made me I could have made more honey supers, I'm sure, but that's, I didn't want any more. So what I'm going to show you guys now is something I like to do, and that is use 2 hive tools. So like if you want to break the propolis seal and you got a good extension right there, use a second hive tool somewhere further back to work the back at the same time. It's like taking off a tire off a bicycle rim, you know. There you go. See how that, you know, 2 hive tools can really help you. And then I like to spin it just a little bit so I know it's free on all corners. Now that thing will lift off. Get the spiders out of the handles. Okay, that wasn't bad when I just shifted it over here. All right, we have the number of bees here that we want. Be easy to get them, but we don't want to find the queen here. So we're going to take a little extra moment and make sure we don't see the queen. Isn't that crazy? Look how full that is. You can't even see the top of the frames. Wow. So one of the ways that you can test for mites is to get a bucket like this. Any kind of tub of, maybe you can get a 5-frame nuke. I've made videos of using those before. You can also, if you wanted to, I've made videos showing how you can roll this cup backwards and the bees fall in it. But this method works really good to shake the bees into this bucket. And then once you get them in there, you can kind of use your bucket to get them in a corner and scoop them up and throw them in the alcohol. Let's see how this works. Now, the idea is that a lot of your older bees will fly away and that you'll be left with a lot of nurse bees down here. And you can, let's go ahead and get our alcohol ready right here. Yep. Now we can just scoop up a cup of bees, get them in the alcohol, just like that. Now, you don't have to immediately look and test. You can put the hive back together, slosh this around to get a good reading if you want to do that. But that's what we need to do now. We're going to let this soak. It won't change anything. We're going to put our hive back together. In our case, we need to get the bees down. So we're going to use smoke to get them down into the box. Get them off the top so we don't smash bees. So this is the best way to do it. Takes a little bit of smoke to get them to go where you want them to. But see how that cleared that off? You just don't want to smash a lot of bees. I went to a full suit because when I saw how many bees there were and what kind of work we needed to do, I decided to suit up. I think it was a good thing. They don't seem to be real, mean or anything, but I just need to work faster than I normally do. So we'll start putting frames back in. Alrighty, one more to put in. That's the frame that we shook bees off of. It will go back where it came from right here. So terrible. Bees all over my handle. They like that wood back here. It's going to be a little tough getting them under that handle, getting my hand under that handle. They're starting to move out a little bit. All right, not bad. Pretty good landing, I'd say. This will be a good hive to test for mites because of the number of bees. It means they've had a lot of generation of bees, so that means we'll have a greater chance to have more mites. Bees off. All right. Okay, so we've got our sample. Well over 300 bees, it looked like to me, but that's fine. Not much, but a little bit over. And then we slosh it around for at least a minute. And then we want to kind of just see if we can get all the mites off. This year with the queens that I've raised, I'm really happy with them. I have worked, you know, back, 10 or 15 years ago, I was doing liquid nitrogen tests and trying to get more hygienic behavior. And dang, I think I've really gotten that big improvement for me. Let's see. I'm expecting, I'm going to say probably 2 or 3 mites based on all the other hives that I've been testing. Most of my hives have shown 0 mites, but some have had 1 or 2, especially my overwintered colonies. All right, so that's crazy enough. We've given them every chance to get mites off of there as we can. Let's see what we got. Set that aside. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Look at that. Holy cow. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? I'm so happy about that. I mean, I don't have any mites in there at all. I don't know if you can see, but that's 0 mites. Wow, and that's a full hive of bees with many, many generations. Let me move the camera up to the sky so you can see that. It's okay. Let's see. Get you up underneath that bucket. You're going to be like, what? All right, here we go. 0 mites. Wow. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not even going to get to use my vaporizer until I find a hive that's got a mite in it to vaporize. I'll save that alcohol. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, so I've been saving up a little money. Every time I go speaking, I put a little bit aside for my vaporizer, which I finally got enough money to buy this. It's not cheap. So I bought the vaporizer. By the way, thanks for asking me to come speak at your, bee conference. I got a lot of conferences lined up I'm speaking at, so you can email me right here at this email address if you'd like for me to speak at your conference. And I'll put a little bit of money aside when you pay me for some other thing that I need really bad. So what we're going to need today to do some oxalic acid vapor treatment, we're going to need gloves. We need chemical gloves to protect us from the acid. It's very dangerous. And we've got our vaporizer. We've got the little unit here that you put in there that actually allows you to, push down into your oxalic powder acid. And then we just put it in there. Once you get in there, it heats up to 230 degrees Celsius. And then we're just going to punch it down and get it on the heat, and then it starts vaporizing. And what you also need, which is highly, highly important, is some type of mask with the right kind of cartridges that will protect you from organic vapor. Painting mask and all that won't do it. So it's better just to get the organic vapor cartridge that's made for oxalic acid. And I don't want to damage my eyes, and I want to protect my whole face. Safety glasses, might work, but I feel better with this. And I don't know, let's see how, I don't think I'm going to wear a bee suit. I might be able to get my hat on. So you put it on like this. There it is. Boy, that is I know you can't hear me. That is a very good seal. Oh my gosh, that's a real good seal. You test it by covering up the hose. Entrance down. And plunged it. So the temperature go down. I got the entrance done and plunged it. Wow, I'm so happy to be in the shade. Oh my gosh, I think I was going to die. Let's see what the temperature is. Yeah, well, it's 90, but it's a hot 90. Wow, that was sweaty and hot. But I work hard for you guys. I love making videos, and this is one way I can help you understand how to test for mites and how to respond to mites. Remember, you always want to treat when you get above 2 or 3 mites per your average percent. So remember that when you do a mite test, you're using that little cup. That's a half a cup of bees, and that's 300 bees. And you want to see out of that 300, you really don't want to see more than 6 to 9. You kind of want about what is about 2%. You want 2 mites per 100 bees. Use that as a way of determining if you should treat your mites or not. I've been so fortunate this year that I just aren't seeing mites in the hive. It is like remarkable. I'm just so excited. By the way, I love this shirt and what it says. We have it available if you'd like to wear it. It basically says, whatever's wrong with your hive, wait 10 days. It's good advice. Here's better advice. Everything will be okay in 100 years from now. No matter what you're going through, wait 100 years, everything will be fine. Wow. Hey, I want to talk coffee time real quick with you guys. Because all of you tell me you like coffee time so much, and I appreciate that. And I've been given some thought about, I think a lot about life in general and interacting with people and helping people. And one of the things that I have always been very, I guess, challenged by and inspired to do, and that is never to be a selfish person. I think it's real easy to be selfish, you know. When you're raised, when you're little, you know, you want that toy, you fight over a toy with somebody else because you want the toy. You know, you're selfish. That's, most little kids are selfish. That's just the way it is. But as you grow up, you need to shift over and realize how important it is as grown-ups and adults that being selfish, it doesn't do anything but hurt yourself. Because when you're able to give yourself or something you own to help others or to help a cause, it's huge. It really is. To stand behind somebody else and support them and not be hateful. And sometimes when we're real selfish, we want to hang on to everything. We want to leave a bad Google review. You know, we want to leave a complaint, file a complaint. Every time I speak somewhere, I always fly American Airlines. And when I get back, they always send me a survey on each flight that I took, layover, whatever. They're like, how did that go? How'd you like it? What can we do better? I love filling that out. And it takes a lot for me to say I didn't like something. But occasionally I do, but it's in a real constructive way. I think that's fine. I stay at Holiday Inn Express, and every time I get home, they always ask, was anything wrong? And sometimes I might say the water wasn't hot enough, you know, something like that. Just so that my next visit, things can be a little bit better. But I don't go out of my way. And you notice on my channel, if I don't like something, a lot of people send me things. A lot of companies want me to try things. They send me free things, and I'll tinker with them and experiment. And if I like something, you know, I talk about it. I say, this is really good. This product is great. You know, you've heard me talk about the Acorn Foundation, how good it is, you know, double coated wax. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't even know them. I just like the product. It works for me. My gloves that I wear, the burlap that I use. Nobody pays me to say that. I do it because I think it can help you. If I like smokers, I tell you, I like this smoker. And so some things I try and I don't like at all. I would never use them. I don't want you to use them. And no, I'm not going to say what they are, because it's maybe my opinion. Maybe I'm different than most beekeepers. See, I don't want to just badmouth a company or something just because it doesn't, you know, make me happy. But anyway, I don't want to be a selfish person. When you learn to give, I mean, it is so freeing when you become a giving person. Now, you may not have a lot of money. You may not be able to give money to people, although, you know, that's helpful if somebody's hurting for money or financial crisis or something, and you can help them, you know, but not everybody can give money freely away like that. Times are hard. I get that. But one of the things you can always give is yourself, your own support, your own encouragement, your own physical labor. you know, doing something for somebody else that they can no longer do, chipping in and doing something like that, man, that goes a long way. I noticed the other day that somebody left a very kind comment and a very big super thanks on one of my videos. Super thanks is just an amount of money that you can leave. It's a way of saying, I liked your video, here's a donation. And I just thought, man, that person was really a giving person. I mean, not that you have to do that, and I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying those are the kind of things that you can always move into if you find yourself struggling to be not very giving. And I'm going to tell you, when you become a person that shares your insights, that's giving. Giving is sharing, right? You share your insights, you share your wisdom, you share your money, you share your food, you share your love, you share your kindness, you give somebody a ride, you share your car. I mean, it's just powerful in people's lives. When I was young and Sherry and I first got married, we got married in 1980. Hope that's right or she's going to kill me. Although I don't think she watches my videos. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got married in 1980 because we had our first child in 1981. And so anyway, when we got married, we didn't have a nickel to rub against a dime. Man, I mean, we were so poor. It was so awful. Yeah, I mean, they would come to shut off my electricity and I'm trying to write a check, hoping that I can get money in there before the check bounces. Oh my gosh, I was so poor. Oh, it was terrible. And I was working, trying to make things happen, but no, it was hard. But I often said to myself, because we spent a long time not having a washer machine or a dryer when our kids were real little, and we would have to go to the laundromat, and sometimes we would wash them. We had somebody gave us an old-fashioned washing board. I know, you probably never heard of that, but it's a washing board. And I'm not that old, I was just that poor. But we would use a washing board. We lived in a kind of an old house and we had a back porch screened in and we had a washer board back there. We'd wash our clothes. And then we didn't have a dryer. In the winter time, in the summer we had a clothesline and that was good. But in the winter time, that back porch became a clothesline. I Visa-queened it in. And so it held a lot of heat back there. And I'm saying all this to let you know that I remember saying so many times when I was that age back then, if I ever get rich, which I'm not yet, if I ever get rich, I want to start some kind of organization that gives young, struggling families washers and dryers because nothing is worse. Well, there's a lot of things worse, but it's hard when you have to wash your own clothes and dry your own clothes. We would go to the laundromat sometimes, but we didn't have money for the laundromat. It's like crazy how poor you can get sometimes if you've been there. I think if we can do things to help people, I mean, it is powerful to help people. And I'm thankful today that I've been able to make a living off of honeybees. Sherry and I don't do anything else. We don't have, a lot of people that work bees or have YouTube channels and all, they have other jobs where they have, you know, good insurance and good retirement and good investment opportunities. Zilcha with me. I make my living off of honeybees. Oh my gosh. You know how scary that is? It's not that bad. But thank you for supporting my channel. I make my living off making YouTube videos and working bees. But I do love to share with people. I've got 13 grandchildren. And so I watch them. I like to see if they need something, you know, and I try to help them. And my own children, if they need something, I try to help them. They're grown and doing good. But, you know, you always want to share. So it's tempting to be selfish. Oh my gosh. And I don't know about you, but I can detect a selfish person really quickly. And I kind of don't like selfishness. I love seeing people that are so willing to make a sacrifice, roll up their sleeves, work hard for you, help you out, drive you there, open a door for you. So no matter how the world is shifting, and it is, please, is there any way we can get back to really not being here just for us, just for me? It all revolves around me. Can it be to help other people, to help other beekeepers out? You know, that sometimes beekeepers might have an accident, hurt their back, or get too old to work their bees. And so maybe if you live near beekeepers like that, you could chip in and say, how can I help you? I want to come alongside of you and give you a push, help you succeed. That's right. When we do that, we become healthier mentally. I'm not sure about physically, but I kind of think so. But mentally, we become much more healthier. If we just drill down and we become whiners and we want everybody to do for us and we want everybody to give to us, not good for you. You can become a little bit too mentally, you'll struggle mentally really well. But when you help other people, it gives you, it warms your heart. And that's why I make videos, by the way. That's why I was out there 90-degree days showing you stuff, teaching you things. I feel like I need to help you. I mean, you ask questions on my channel and you tell me what you don't know. And so I'm making a sacrifice or investing in you by putting my time in. Free, it's free. I mean, YouTube is free. What you're watching now doesn't cost you anything. And so it's my way of giving back to the beekeeping community, and I hope you appreciate that. Yeah, you can help me out by joining me on Thursday night live stream. A lot of you do. It's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Love to have you there. We have a big crowd, always 600, 700, 800. One time we had 1,400 people there, beekeepers. So it's always fun to be together. We have giveaways, and I teach. So be sure to be there every Thursday night, 7 p.m. And also subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. I do make a little money off of YouTube, and that keeps me going. That helps me buy a camera. It helps me not have to have a day job. I can instead spend time in my beehives. And so making videos to help you. So I always appreciate anything you can do to spread the word about my YouTube channel. Keep watching them all the way through, like you have this one, obviously. And give me a thumbs up. Now, I've got a great video that I want you to watch. It's one that we made just a couple of days ago, where we went back into the hive that had 2 queens in it because they were lagging behind a little bit during, I think they swarmed, and now we found the 2 queens that were virgin queens, swarm queens. Now, you know, they're doing good. You got a lot of brood in there, but they still need to pull out some frames. So I started feeding them. I want to show you how I'm feeding them. And we're in a dearth. I got to start feeding my bees now so that they can build up bees of winter physiology to make it through winter. That's the scariest part. So watch that video. I'll see you guys right over here.